On New Year's Eve, while snowflakes silently fell to the ground, a small town was engulfed in silence, as everyone awaited the hours to welcome the new year with enthusiasm. Sarah, one of the town's residents, decided to organize a party at an old storyteller's house. She found a mysterious room in the depths of the house. Among dusty shelves, she discovered an antique book. The book's cover was adorned with peculiar symbols, and its pages had turned yellow with age. Curiously flipping through the pages, Sarah thought she had found the perfect tale to tell on New Year's Eve. However, this tale had a dark history. As she narrated the story, the weather in the town suddenly began to change. The wind started to blow angrily, and instead of snowflakes, frozen droplets of blood began to fall. When Sarah finished recounting the tale, suddenly everyone's eyes went dark, and the town filled with screams. The lights in the house went out, leaving only the faint light of the stars. Sarah tried frantically to close the book, but she felt a force keeping it open. It was as if she was trapped inside the tale. The story she had told seemed to have turned into reality. Slowly, the townspeople began to turn into frozen statues, their faces twisted in terror. Sarah, putting the book away and blowing out the candles on the table, desperately prayed to return to the real world she longed for. After a moment of silence, Sarah heard a whisper echoing inside the house. "The tale will live on here forever." And from that day on, the story of the town continued to be recounted as a terrifying New Year's tale. As for Sarah, she never dared to open that old storybook again after that fateful night. In a remote village nestled between towering pine trees, there lay an old, decrepit mansion, abandoned for centuries. Legends whispered of a curse that befell the house, warning people to stay away, especially on New Year's Eve. As the clock struck midnight on December 31st, a group of adventurous teenagers dared each other to spend the night within the mansion's chilling walls. Sarah, John, Emily, and Michael, seeking a thrill on this fateful night, entered the ominous abode. Once inside, the temperature plummeted, and the air grew thick with an eerie silence. Strange, flickering lights cast dancing shadows across the walls as the group ventured deeper into the mansion's heart. Whispers echoed through the corridors, and the floorboards creaked under their feet. Sarah, the boldest of the group, led them into a room adorned with dusty ornaments and an ancient, tarnished mirror. Suddenly, the mirror reflected a figure, not their own reflections, but something darker and sinister. Panic set in as Emily vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a faint, haunting laughter. The remaining trio, trembling in fear, struggled to find an exit, but the mansion seemed to shift, trapping them within its cursed embrace. As the night wore on, they encountered apparitions of the mansion's former residents, tormented souls forever trapped in this spectral realm. The clock struck 3, and a blood-curdling scream pierced through the darkness, as John was swallowed by a vortex that materialized out of nowhere. Sarah and Michael, paralyzed by terror, found themselves in a room adorned with portraits of a family that had perished under mysterious circumstances. The family's eyes followed their every move, filling the room with a suffocating sense of dread. With the midnight hour approaching once again, the spirits grew restless, hungering for new souls to join them in their eternal torment. Sarah and Michael, now desperate to escape, stumbled upon a cryptic inscription etched onto a wall. To break the curse, sacrifice the one who seeks the truth. In a heart-wrenching decision, Sarah realized that the only way to save herself and Michael was to sacrifice her pursuit of uncovering the mansion's secrets. She feigned ignorance, declaring her departure from the mansion and denying any curiosity about its history. As the clock struck 12, the mansion trembled and the spirits paled in anguish. Sarah and Michael fled, the mansion crumbling behind them as the curse shattered, imprisoning the malevolent entities within its rubble. Yet the horror would forever haunt Sarah and Michael, a chilling reminder of the night they narrowly escaped the clutches of an unspeakable evil on a New Year's Eve. As the New Year's Eve night fell, snowflakes gently descended to the ground, casting a melancholic aura over the quiet streets of the town. Cold winds rustled the branches of trees, while the townsfolk nestled in their homes, relishing the warmth and joyous moments of the season. However, this New Year's Eve was different. In the late hours of the night, the town's lights began to extinguish one by one. The electricity had been cut off, plunging the town into darkness. People were in a panic because many households found that none of their electrical devices were working. Phones, televisions, lights, everything had suddenly ceased to function. The townspeople started to venture outside, but there was an eerie atmosphere outdoors as well. Not a single star shimmered in the sky, and the moon seemed to have hidden behind the clouds. Gathered at the town square, people looked at each other with fear. Suddenly, the town bells began to chime, but it wasn't the usual ringing. It sounded more chilling, sending shivers down their spines. All of a sudden, a colossal serpent-like figure emerged in the middle of the town. Its black scales glinted, and its eyes burned with a green fire. As people recoiled in horror, the serpent-like figure began to speak. It was a sorcerer who had once been the town's sage, cursed many years ago. The sorcerer began to explain the reason behind the darkness and the power outage. Years ago, he had been ostracized and wronged by the townspeople. In retaliation, he had cast a spell filled with curses, and the effects of his curse had manifested on this very night. While the townspeople contemplated how to break the sorcerer's curse, the serpent figure transformed into a ball of flames, spewing fire around and advancing toward the town. People tried to flee, but the flames spread everywhere. By morning, the town had turned into ruins. The cursed serpent figure had vanished, but the town had ceased to exist. New Year's celebrations were never held in that town again, as that cursed night had left a profound mark on everyone's memory.